Howdy folks, Jamboree here. Now we come on to a part of Roald Dahl month where I discuss a movie about one of my favourite subjects, chocolate. How... I was hoping the case would be made out of chocolate. In this episode of Jam Bites, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I need to get some real chocolate. Charlie Bucket lives in poverty with his mom and bedridden grandparents. One day, the mysterious candy maker Willy Wonka offers the public the chance to visit his magical chocolate factory, which really excites Charlie. However, there's a catch. Only people who can find 5 golden tickets in his candy bars can enter the factory. Most ticket winners turn out to be spoiled little brats, but a miracle happens. Poor little Charlie ends up finding a golden ticket and gets the chance to go inside the amazing Wonka factory. The first half an hour of this movie is kind of awkward to me. You see, this time in the film is used to show Charlie's rough life in a poverty-stricken environment. The film wants us to sympathise with him and understand his misfortunes. However, at the same time, the movie also tries to establish the hype of the golden tickets through a series of comedy sketches. Don't get me wrong, these comedy sketches are very funny and well put together, but they seem so out of place. One moment we're watching Charlie's family deal with the lack of food they have, then the next, the film turns into an episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus. It's very bizarre, creates a tonal whiplash, and turns the hype of the ticket into more of a joke than a genuinely exciting phenomenon, which makes the build-up less enthralling than it could have been. Despite this cluttered build-up, the film actually starts its magic once we finally meet Willy Wonka and enter his factory. Wonka himself is the spirit of the film. He's a fantastical, hilarious, eccentric, and exciting character that draws me into the movie. He walks the fine line between charming and insane. He's cultured, multilingual, and very passionate about his work, but at the same time there's a glitter of madness in his eyes. There's something unpredictable and unhinged about him that makes him mesmerising to watch. Actor Gene Wilder is extraordinary as Willy Wonka. He's both terrifying and hilarious at the same time. He uses his tender voice to be both creepy and funny.
He's done! He'll be made into marshmallows in 5 seconds.
Impossible, my dear lady. That's absurd. Unthinkable.
Why?
Because that pipe doesn't go to the marshmallow room, it goes to the fudge room.
You terrible man.
What the heck is that whistle? Take Mrs. Gloop straight to the fudge room, but look sharp, or her little boy's liable to get poured into the boiler.
You boiled him up, I know it.
Il desperandum, dear lady. Across the desert lies the promised land. Goodbye, Mrs. Gloop. Adieu, auf Wiedersehen, Gesundheit, farewell.
The factory itself is just as whimsical and enchanting as Wonka himself, providing plenty of strange candy, nightmarish visuals, and witty nonsense. From a fizzy drink that makes you fly to a boat that travels through a tunnel of hell, this factory is full of so many exciting, weird things to keep audiences entertained. As we go through Wonka's factory, each child ends up in an accident due to their own incompetence and greed. Wonka reacts to these tragedies with disinterest because these kids are clearly being brats, which certainly gives the impression that he gets a kick out of their comeuppances, or maybe he planned them. Anything could be implied because of Wonka's mysterious nature. After a child ends up in an accident, Wonka's charismatic employees, known as the Oompa Loompas, sing about the child's misdeeds and bad habits. Each of these songs are hard to tell apart because they all sound the same to me, but they're still charming little numbers that showcase the mischievous dark side of the factory. The Oompa Loompas aren't the only ones to get songs. Charlie's mum has a sweet and heartfelt lullaby, Charlie and his grandpa have a fun and celebrative song about winning the ticket, and Wonka gets to sing a song about the wonders of fantasy and imagination, superbly performed by the tender-voiced Wilder. These are very enjoyable songs that add details to characters, progress the story at points, and give the film a whimsical, outlandish feel. What about the child actors in this film? Are they any good? Well, they tend to yell and scream most of their lines, but this actually adds to their characters' obnoxious personalities, making them effectively unlikable and believably over-pampered.
They're not even trying. They don't want to find it. They're jealous of me.
Sweetheart, I can't push them no harder. 19,000 bars an hour they're shelling. 760,000 they've done so far.
You promised, Daddy. You promised I'd have it the very first day.
Peter Ostrom is quieter than the rest though. He plays Charlie with earnesty and sincerity, while also giving him a cheeky side to remind audiences that he's still a child with wants and needs.
Grandpa, that money was for tobacco.
I told you, Charlie, I've given it up. Go on, open it. 1 ticket left. Now let's see some of that gold.
No, you do it. I can't.
Something tells me we're going to be lucky this time. I got a funny feeling inside it. Which end shall I open first?
That end. Just a tiny bit.
Like this?
Now a bit more.
You finish it, I can't.
No, Grandpa, you do it.
So, I will admit that this movie is very dated and it really shows. The songs have psychedelic text thrown on screen, the special effects are very cheesy, and a couple of things look obviously fake. I'll be honest and say that these old-fashioned production values can make a few sets, props, effects and environments look underwhelmingly unimpressive, with the exception of the chocolate making room, which is breathtakingly creative, but a few other elements of the film do lose a certain whimsy because they come across as cheap and tacky. To conclude, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is very much a product of its own time, with outdated effects and unnecessary comedy sketches thrown in at the beginning that ruin both its tone and its build-up. Despite this, I think it's decent. It's an okay movie with psychedelic campy visuals, weird ideas, fun songs and a captivatingly hilarious performance from actor Gene Wilder. I'm going to give this movie 3.5 chocolate strawberries out of 5. And if you enjoyed such films as Labyrinth or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, then I think you might enjoy it. I've been Jamboree and I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, then I encourage you to like, subscribe and share. I'd also really appreciate it if you could support me on my Patreon. In the next episode of Jam Bites, I'm going to review Liar Liar. Or am I? Cheerio, folks.